It's Wednesday, March 25th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host for today, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Mike Bennett, working his way behind the boards, keeping everything nice and smooth, nice and clean, as we get into a great day and a great show for today. Got a great day of sports coming up. A lot to talk about here. Let's bring up the lineup on who we have on the show today. Starting with Mr. Peanut Butter, we're going to run through some NBA awards markets, talk a little bit about UFL, and I told him to prepare a prop for today. We'll see if he listens to me. He rarely does. But hopefully he has a prop for you. Then after that, I got Geoff Fienberg coming on the show. Houston Open. Going to talk through some golf bets, anything he's got here for us. Sort of the madness that happens whenever Scotty withdraws, because, Scotty withdrew. He's got a kid coming in now. I believe that's his second. A lot of chaos ensues in the odds board, so I'm going to talk through that, how he sort of played it. Talk about if there's still value left on the board, and then maybe, it's opening night in the MLB. Or is it really opening night in the MLB? We'll talk about that with Geoff as well. Only one game tonight is so weird. I hate that for an opening night. I hate that, especially for a sport like MLB. I want games all across the board. Then finally, Matt Winick closes the show. Going to talk some Sweet 16. And, of course, we're going to sprinkle a little bit on that NIT. Shout out Wichita State. Shout out Matt Winick for giving the plus 4.5. I think they ended up winning by 15. Oklahoma State didn't have, I think they had 3 of their 5 starters missing because they were transferred, so they were suspended. I think he said that there was 5 of 8 of their top 8 minutes getters were injured or suspended, like those 3 players. So they didn't have a team. Anyway, speaking of college basketball, I wanted to bring this up because I don't know if you guys saw this tonight, or yesterday. This is one of the craziest opening interviews I've ever seen in my entire life. This comes from College Transfer Portal. Brian Hodgson hired as new head coach of Providence. And if you're questioning his recruiting skills, he's got a thing to say about that. Let's play this clip. An absolutely insane thing to say. I love it. It made me think of some more crazy opening press conferences remark. I want to hear what you guys have to say about your favorite opening press conference remarks. Some of them being Curt Cignetti saying, Google me, I win. Absolutely nails 2 years later, considering he won the national championship. Dan Campbell, we're going to bite their damn kneecaps off. Just some crazy fun interview stuff. One that sticks out in my mind as a Leafs fan, it's kind of in the other direction, bringing on piss and vinegar and referencing a lot of snot with Brad Treliving. That hasn't gone so well. A couple other interviews that I just were thinking about. Practice. We talking about practice with AI. Of course, the playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs with Jim Mora. Just hope we can win a damn game.
So quickly. They said they couldn't hear it. Just explain what it was.
They couldn't hear the clip?
Yeah, we thought, yeah.
Okay.
It's Hodgson basically saying if you...
he just said that if you have any questions about my recruiting skill, just take a look at my wife, who is, very good looking. So good for him. But that's all right. It is all right. Money's working his way behind the boards today, apparently. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all
so
good.
So sleepy.
All right. Anyways, let's get into today's show. All right. We got Mr. Peanut Butter coming on. Going to talk about some awards markets. He's a prediction market punter. A dog who is definitely a boy. If you watch the Hammer Daily, you get that reference. Mr. Peanut Butter, how's it going?
Good. I think you are missing an obvious parallel. As James Franklin said that he made all of his coaches have hot wives. Otherwise, they weren't allowed onto the coaching staff.
Is that a real thing? I actually didn't know.
Yeah, he said that shows you can't recruit if you don't have hot wives.
Okay, all right. There we go. I didn't know about that one. Bringing in the college knowledge. Always, Mr. Peanut Butter. But no March Madness. You're not a March Madness better, are you?
Did a Calcutta this year. Didn't go well.
So
punting that away.
Same here. We're in the same boat here. All right, let's get into things for today. Did you prepare a prop for us tonight? Let's give the people a little bit of a teaser. If you didn't, just say no and we can move on.
I did. I got one just for you, Jason.
All right, perfect. We'll get into that after the awards markets. Let's start with the awards markets, though, because there's a lot to talk about here. There's a couple awards with 10, 9, 8 games left, kind of close down the stretch. We're going to skip over MVP. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. Luka's moving up the odds boards. Victor Wembanyama's moving up the odds boards. But this is an award for, as you said, winning first. You don't get points for winning second in this race. So we don't really care about that. We're moving on. Skipping over Defensive Player of the Year. I want to start with Rookie of the Year. We've seen Con Knippel and Cooper Flagg sort of bounce back and forth a little bit. It's been Cooper Flagg's award to win for majority of the year, but ever since the Hornets been on such a crazy run since December, their chances of making the playoffs have increased over time, the play-ins as well. Con Knippel sitting right now at minus 180. Would you ever take a flyer on Cooper Flagg at plus 140, or do you think this Con Knippel price is too short?
I think the number's too short. If you ask me who the better player is, I still think Cooper Flagg's a better player. If you ask me who's going to have the better career, I would easily go Cooper Flagg. If you ask me who was better this season, I think Con is pretty much runaway winner right now. He's been very good for the Hornets all season. They're having team success. They're going to be the ones who are playing, with something to play for down the postseason. While Dallas, it's been a lost season. So I do think Flagg's a better player long term. Dallas fans got to be happy about getting him. He's the best player in the class. But this season, Con has shot the ball too well. He's been too good offensively and important for a really good team. I just don't see the argument for Flagg. What do you think?
So my question here is, like, oftentimes with awards markets, we kind of see, especially Rookie of the Year, some of these awards voters are like, we know that Cooper Flagg is going to be a better player long term than Con Knippel. Like, we're pretty confident in that he'll have a better legacy. Do we want to take away his legacy by not giving him this award? But like you mentioned, Con Knippel's shot lights out. He has the record for most threes for a rookie this year. I don't know if that's going to be that much of a factor. Are you worried at all about awards voters maybe having that mentality?
If it was closer, yes. Honestly, I don't even think that's necessarily a bad instinct to have, to lean towards a better long-term player. But it's just kind of had a historic shooting season for the rookie year. To me, if it was two players who didn't really deserve it and Cooper is having a better season, he's going to be the long-term pro, you're going to look silly voting Con as a rookie of the year. I understand that, but you're still not going to look dumb. Con's going to be it seems like he's going to have a very good career. So while even though Cooper is a better player, and yes, looking back, we'll be like, wait, he didn't win rookie of the year. I think that people will understand breaking the three-point record as a rookie, things like that. It's an easier case to make, especially when you consider the team success too. Yeah,
exactly. Team success, breaking the three-point record. Everything is just lining up for Con to win. When I saw the minus 180 price, I feel like he's been short all year, honestly. Like, really, the second that he was sort of he was shooting crazy and in the running to break this record, I was like, Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks, they're going the wrong direction. The Charlotte Hornets are going skyrocketing. They're a great team. Minus 180. Feels too short. Going to be clicking that one. Let's move over to most improved player. This one I have no opinion on because I can't really tell you much. Jalen Duren right now, minus 110 as the favorite right now on the board. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, plus 130. Davai Avdija, plus 600. Jalen Johnson, 40 to 1. Then a couple other guys down the board who we're going to sort of skip over. Anyone you like here in terms of odds?
So Alexander Walker was third in this till about 3 days ago and has taken a huge shot up the boards to plus 160. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction in the market. Now, he has moved up. Like, Atlanta has been very good. They've just crushed an absolutely pathetic schedule here. But it still is looking like they're most likely, they're not going to be that successful. And I don't think that most improved is a team success award in the way, if you're not driving that success. No, Alexander Walker is the third best player on his team, so I just don't think that move is quite warranted. Don't get me wrong, he was way too short a while back, or his odds were way underrated a while back, but I still think in this, Denny Avdija has taken some hits because he missed that time. To me, he has been, he's the one who's taken a meaningful leap forward in the way these other guys haven't. Jalen Duren, we saw this progression was kind of building, and he's still, he's a much better version of the player he was. He wouldn't be a bad choice by any means. Denny Avdija has kind of totally changed who he is as a player, and now he's kind of driving the offense for Portland in a way that we didn't think he had that in this game. So it's not just the level of improvement he's had, but it's been a total shift in the kind of prototype that you would expect of him. He did have a very good end of the season last year, but that's silly season. The last 10, 15 games of the year kind of are nonsense in the sense that you don't know who's trying, things like that. This kind of establishing himself as a star of the league, to me, is the more significant jumps that we've had.
All right. I noticed you didn't really mention Jalen Duren that much. Is that because you feel like just FD is just well priced, or sorry, not well priced enough at plus 600, and Duren at minus 110 is it's kind of a coin flip between the two?
I wouldn't say it's
Not
a coin flip.
but
Duran probably deserves the award, or I think Duran probably will win the award. He's been more consistent over the season due to the injuries Avdia has. But to me, they have pretty similar cases in terms of levels of improvement. I just think that, for those odds that you're getting with Avdia, it's just a greater improvement. And he got so dinged up in the odds markets during that stretch where we weren't sure if he was going to come back. Backs are tricky. He was out, missed a significant amount of time. He's come back here. And when he first came back, didn't look great. He's starting to kind of ramp it back up now. And for a play-in team in the West is carrying the offense. Duran, he's going to be the man now down this stretch for the Pistons with Cade out with that collapsed lung. He's going to get a ton of usage. I certainly think he's the second, or I think he's probably still the most likely. But I just don't think quite at the level of Avdia. I don't think if they gave the award to Duran, though, it would be like a mistake by any means. I think he has a very good case for it.
Yeah, plus 600 implied probability of 14%. Sounds like you're in like the 25-30% range for Avdia. So obviously you're going to want to click that. Duran as well, if he's going to be handling the ball more without Cade, could lead to like some bad shooting regression. There's bad shooting over this last stretch, and it could really sour voters towards the end, which is like really kind of important how the season closes out.
Yeah, so I do think the increased usage with Cade out is going to be good for him overall. Okay. He's a very good scorer. The problem is Detroit's kind of have everything wrapped up. There's not really anyone pushing behind them. So if you're playing in some of these games here, they don't have an incentive to play him down the stretch. I don't think that they're going to have one guy be injured and be playing another guy for awards balloting for most improved. It's just not that important of an award that you're going to be like, hey, we're the number one seed. Let's put a guy at risk for this award. So I think that kind of his games aren't going to matter down the stretch, and I think that is kind of what could ding him along the way.
All right, let's move on to sixth man of the year. Keldon Johnson right now minus 105. Jaime Jaquez plus 270. Reed Shepherd plus 600. Naz Reid plus 750. Then sort of the rest. Anyone you like here in the sixth man award?
I lean Keldon. To be honest, this is one of the worst sixth man of the year award markets that we've seen. I don't think there are very many deserving candidates. I don't think any of them would win in a normal year. It's probably in the lower 10 percentile of NBA six man of the years. So I don't think that any of these guys are true difference makers. I'm just going to go for the guy who's been the sixth man of the year, the most important bench player on one of the best teams in the league. So he's basically he's a very important piece to what the Spurs do off the bench, and the fact that he brings in this offensive rebound, this bully ball style where he's kind of rampaging to the rim and fast breaks and everything like that. So I don't think Keldon Johnson is particularly a great candidate, but if you're asking me who am I going to pick between him, Jaquez, Shepherd has been underwhelming in my opinion. I'm going to go with the guy who's at least been contributing to a real legit West contender versus somebody who's going to be in the play-in.
Why do you think like the field is like so much worse this year than in previous years?
So we had a couple guys that were, basically, I thought were going to be good candidates. Anthony Black for Orlando got bumped into the starting role because Franz got injured. He lost out that reason. AJ Mitchell had an oblique injury, which caused him just to miss too many games for this award. You don't need 65 games for the sixth man of the year award, but it's just, if you're only playing 58 games, it's kind of hard to say that you had an impact on the season. So to me, it's just like a couple guys that were looking like they could be the top of the tier either got bumped out for injuries or they got bumped into the starting lineup. So yeah, it kind of happened to be worse this year than others. I wouldn't say that it's like any kind of trend or anything like that.
All right. I want to close it out with coach of the year here. JB Bickerstaff minus 170. Sort of been the odds-on favorite for a while now, but Joe Mazzulla is like really nipping at the heels with the Celtics. Celtics right now 47 wins versus the Pistons 52 wins. Only 4 games back from that first place spot. Although the Pistons do have a game in hand, it looks like. Do you think there's any opportunity for for Mazzulla to flip Bickerstaff for this award, or is it locked up at this point?
Ironically, I think the Cade entry kind of helps Bickerstaff in a weird way, in the sense that it's still very likely that the Pistons are going to get the 1 seed. I don't see the Boston Celtics overtaking them, especially with the kind of opponents that Detroit's going to have to face here down the stretch in the end of the season. Like I said, it's kind of silly season with only half the teams trying. And now he's going to get the narrative of Cade wasn't there. He was able to overcome players being injured. And Bickerstaff, I don't think he is as good of a coach as Joe Mazzulla, but what he's done this year with Detroit has missed a decent amount of guys, and every time they miss someone, it's next guy up. It's a million guys who are playing their hearts out every night. I think that this injury kind of helps Bickerstaff in the sense that now if he wins it, it's going to be hard for Missoula to overtake him. Missoula to me is the deserving winner of the award, but I just don't think he's going to get there.
All right, Missoula, the deserving winner of the award. Maybe doesn't get it though. All right, any props for tonight? You teased it a little bit. Sorry, you teased it for us a little bit at the start of the show. What do you got here for us? Talk us through it.
Yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander under points, 29.5. Now, the concern is Oklahoma City in some of these games, they tend to really go for it when they're trying to beat up kind of in the big moment games, they play lower minutes in the low games, and then when they face these tougher teams, they increase them. But still, 29.5 for SGA is a pretty big number. In the fact that Jalen Williams is coming back, they're finally healthy for the first time all season. If you're looking at Shea's usage numbers throughout the year, they're going to be overstated by the number of games he's played with teammates that aren't able to self-create. Now that he has Jalen Williams playing for a decent chunk of it, is one, going to allow him to rest more while they have somebody self-creating, and two, when they're on the floor together, they're going to give Jalen the ball more than anyone that Shea's played with all season. Essentially, Jalen's missed almost all the year. And that's before you start getting into the other injuries that the team's had. So I think Shea's usage is higher right now than it should be going forward. So he's a good spot generally. And when you talk about Boston, obviously it's going to be a lower scoring game between two of the better defenses in the league.
30.5 for 115 looks to be widely available here. Not a company man. Kirk usually comes on the show and he says, gives out best price in market on FanDuel, but not for you. Not today. It's okay.
You're right. Honestly, you're right. Point for you.
Not a company man. It's all good. I'm just grinding your gears. We always preach to get the best line available. Before you head out here, I want to ask you about the Southeast Division because we talked with Drew about the Southeast Division yesterday. Very interesting stuff when I woke up this morning because the Charlotte Hornets were behind the Orlando Magic last night, but the Hornets were playing the Kings and they were very much expected to win. Then the Magic were playing the Cavs. They covered the spread, lost by like 4 points. And then we see the Hornets flip the Magic. I don't really understand that. Right now, the Hawks are at plus 150, Heat plus 240, Hornets plus 360, and the Magic at plus 460. Any opinion here on the Southeast Division?
I do not have an opinion, sadly. I wish I was able to come up with something a little bit better for you. I have no idea on this. Basically, all these teams to me are, if not equal with one another, depending on the week, could be. Miami is starting to get a little bit healthier, so there's a chance that maybe they're kind of the hotter team to get down the stretch here. But with so much randomness involved in 4 teams, it feels like just make sure you're odd shopping. You'll probably be able to find a good low hold spot to get into.
All right, sounds good. Before you head out, UFL, any opinions you have there for the people? Any thoughts before you head into the season? Season starts this week, week 1. Anything off the top of your mind?
I would say be quick to react to any changes that happen during the year. So if points are happening fast, react quickly to it. If they are coming out and don't look, sharp offensively, react quickly to that. So there's a lot of uncertainty in this league. We don't know how it's going to look moving forward. So I think you're better off overreacting than underreacting as opposed to like an established league. And 2, I think some of these teams at the bottom of the standings actually are a little bit more talented than people think.
All right, then gun to your head, UFL championship winner 2026. Let's pull up the odds boards on your computer. You tell us what you think, what you like. Forcing you to bet it. It's a force bet. Do you like the Defenders at plus 350? The Stallions at plus 350? Are you looking towards the back of the board at the Kings or the Gamblers at 13-1 and 17-1 respectively? Who would you, if you were forced to make a bet on this, you had a $100 free bet, who would you place it on?
The Louisville Kings. I think that Jason Bean is from Kansas. He was drafted in the NFL last year. He was drafted as a first college player in last year's UFL draft. He couldn't play because he was playing as a backup for the Colts. And before they cut him, for the 85-year-old Phillip Rivers. But I think that he's a pretty good quarterback. That team, anytime you have a decent quarterback, a pretty athletic guy, it gives you a puncher's chance. 13-1 is probably too long.
All right, sounds good. Speaking of the NFL, do you know where Geno Smith plays this year? Last year you were unsure, or sorry, this past season you didn't realize he played for the Raiders. He's a new team now. Do you know what team he plays for?
He plays for the New York Jets.
There you go. Great stuff there for Mr. Peanut Butter. As always, our favorite dog on the show. Peanut Butter, appreciate you. We'll chat soon.
See ya.
Awesome stuff there from Mike. As always.
Also, great shirt.
I didn't even see the shirt.
I texted you too. He's wearing a Toronto Argonauts shirt, man.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I
no
texted
way.
you. Yeah, he was.
No way.
It's like a vintage Argos.
Can we run that back? Are we sure?
Yes. I
Wow.
literally texted it to you. Guy probably didn't even know what. Well, actually, no, he knows CFL.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Are you wearing an Argos shirt?
He was.
I'm going to mention that right now. All right, let's get into our next guest. Before we do that, I just want to quickly give a shout out to our friends and sponsors over at FanDuel. The Hammer Daily is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, America's pastime is a game of decisions. Fastball or changeup, swing big or play small, and FanDuel is bringing the same strategy to you for opening week with choose your own reward betting customization that transforms how you experience the game. You can get a bet reset or a 50% profit boost. Make your choices, and the reward will be ready to use on your next MLB game. FanDuel is the home of home runs. We got an MLB game tonight. It's not opening night. Tomorrow is. But you can guess what? You can still use your boost. You can still use your boost tonight. So if you want to bet on Aaron Judge to rip a dinger, then go do that over at FanDuel. So ready, play your game. Head over to FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to choose your reward and for MLB's opening week. Play ball with the home runs on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus are present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration. Leg requirements and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or call 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In New York, call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right. We got Geoff Fienberg in the back. Last week, we hit Chargers Radio. This week, we're not going to do that. If you want to listen to Chargers Radio or if you want to listen to NFL content at all, head over to the Forward Progress YouTube channel, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Last week, they did AFC win totals. This week, they're doing NFC win totals. It'll be George and it'll be Rob doing those NFC win totals. Oh, also, and Austin Mock will be there as well. So, talk through on the NFC win totals. Head over to the Forward Progress HQ YouTube channel. It'll be live at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Then after that, 5 p.m. Eastern, we got Hit the Books, where we're talking some college football news, some futures, some NFL draft, and maybe a little bit of March Madness sprinkled in there. That's 5 p.m. for Hit the Books, 2 p.m. Eastern Time for Forward Progress. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Forward Progress, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Hit the Books. Let's bring on our next guest in just a second. Quick reminder, smash the like button. Comment down below if you like Geoff, if you think his hair looks good today. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. All right. Let's bring on one of our favorite guests here on the show. He's coming off of his recent suspension from the Hammer, from the Circle Back crew. Geoff, how's it going?
What up, Jay?
I expect you to come in a little bit hotter after getting suspended here.
Listen, it was a humbling experience, but I stand in solidarity with those against the chopping block.
All right. I appreciate that you're willing to stick your neck out for that. I also appreciate that you said that the World Baseball Classic is a glorified spring training, but you're out here wearing the Maduro Nike Tech. Like, what are you trying to say here? You got the Venezuelan president's basically outfit on. Explain to me which side of you're playing both sides right now.
I enjoyed the WBC. I think it was a great tournament, but I think people are also being a little disingenuous to what it like actually was.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we'll have a different sentiment if it was played mid-season, like they're talking about doing.
It's not going to be played mid-season. What?
Why? What's wrong with that?
Like, yeah, man. Go. I would lose my mind if my favorite team had pitchers burning innings in the middle of the season. I told you, the one thing that I think they could do is it starts like this past weekend, right? Spring training's essentially over. Guys are ramped up. The season chops off a week, okay? Season chops off a week. April attendance is dog shit anyways. It's not the biggest moneymaker. It's more for like the history and the records, whatever. You play the tournament, you get down to the Final Four, and you play those All-Star Week.
But then you have the same sort of problem where you have like your pitchers stretching out for.
Yeah. Some guys will be available, some guys won't.
All right. That's a good. You know what, Geoff? That's a great point. I've never considered that. That's a great point.
But there's no way baseball's playing a full tournament where pitchers are going to play in multiple games, like actual multiple games in the middle of the season. No chance.
All right.
Dreaming. Now, the one thing is they're going to get creative, Jay, because they're going to be locked out. Like this thing's going to, right? So in like a good faith, goodwill gesture to sort of get some spice back, they're probably going to have to get really creative with a version of this thing that feels even more real than what we just got.
So if they're supposed to be playing in the Olympics, how are they going to balance this with the Olympics then?
Are they playing in the Olympics?
That's what I thought. Like there's going to be baseball in the Olympics, but I don't know if the players are going to go.
Yeah, I don't know that that's been. I know that there's some people want that. Here's the thing. It's really up to the players. And in hockey, it seemed like all the players were aligned.
Yes.
Like the star players wanted it. Crosby, Ovechkin. It's unfortunate, Ovechkin has been left out of it, but like McKinnon, McDavid, all like the top Americans, they wanted it, right? They wanted it. And obviously a lot of the Latin players will want it. And if the players want to make it a big part of the CBA, like, sure, they can. I don't believe they actually do, though.
Interesting. Yeah, okay, I think that's a fair take. I think it's also more ingrained in like hockey culture, like with the World Juniors and the importance of that and how big that is of an event.
It's part of like other great players' legacies.
Yeah.
Where like no point in baseball history is like we've been like, oh yeah, these MVPs and this World Series and the WBC. Like that's a new thing. It's 20 years old, but I think people are being a little disingenuous for like what it was. I mean, it happened during spring training. Players were getting ramped up. You had players who were like more ramped up than others. You had teams, no offense, I'll even I'll even take a shot at a nation while taking a shot at another nation. You had teams like Italy and Israel. I mean, half these teams were just dudes from Jersey. From like the Upper East Side.
Yeah.
Right? Like my parents went on like a bullet train in Japan once. You could play for anyone. Like we had a layover in the Netherlands in 87, and now I'm on the Dutch team. So don't get me wrong. They had to do that because they had to build up like the tertiary teams. Had to, that's what made the tournament as good as it was. On top of like the higher end, the obvious countries being good. Yeah, so come on. Like I think people are stroking it a little too hard and forgetting like what it actually was.
I guess it felt meaningful, and it's just always good to watch meaningful games.
Who watches spring training baseball?
No one.
I was watching baseball 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no one watches.
It was a great success. A great success. But like, let's zoom out and like be honest.
How's it going to work? I think that's the debate that's going on in the chat right now. We want it, but how is it going to work?
I feel like international anything though, people watch.
Absolutely, that's without a doubt. Geoff,
they could. The owners could decide it's just for the greater good. Like the NHL owners got strong-armed into it. Yeah. Someone's going to get injured. But in the end, like us doing this is for like the greater good and the global expansion of our products, which have essentially maximized their value in North America.
Yeah. All right. I think that's the end of the discussion. The answer is just going to be, it depends on the players. It all depends on the players and how much they want it. I doubt the Americans want it that much. I feel like a lot of the other Latin nations, like you said, do want it. Let's get into the Houston Open though. I don't care if you did you have Maddie last week? No, you didn't. But you're riding hot. You're riding hot this month.
There was a clip that went around that like if I had to pick from like the top of the board,
you had Maddie.
I was on Matt, but I didn't bet him, and People were like hitting me up like I bet. I'm like, I didn't bet them.
It's all good. I usually open every single open.
My hair's like almost on an Isaac Berman level here right now. Holy shit!
like good?
Yeah, Berman.
Yeah, it's great. You got a little
Bruce
Einstein
Berman?
mixed with Isaac.
IRB.
Yeah,
Come
IRB.
on.
I hope you tilled his tennis stuff. 3 for 5. 3 for 5. All underdogs. We love it. We love it.
I don't. I mean, I love the guy, but no, I'm not.
Not a big tennis guy.
I
Anyways,
should bet. I should bet more. I guess.
you should. Trust me, you should. I mean, you do whatever you want, but I enjoy it. I care about tennis now. I open every single show. I never talk about these opens, asking you about Scotty, right? I can't ask you this week. Scotty withdrew. So I guess what I have to ask you is like, what type of chaos happens once Scotty withdraws? Like, how does the odds board shift? Talk me through this.
Well, you hope you're not like in the dentist chair or something when that happens. Especially as I found out, I was yesterday years old to find out on the prediction markets that you can get paid full on the nose, on the yes or no. Will the guy win the tournament? As most people know, in the betting markets, you'll get refunded on anything as long as the guy doesn't tee off. But they're just, they're financial instruments. Did he win the tournament? No. So you will get paid on that. So the smash and grabbing. Oh my God, what could be going on there? And the ancillary stuff that you could bet on. But I'm not a pro bettor, and those aren't available in Canada, and I don't have a burner farm or the infrastructure to bet on anything at any time. So I wasn't even aware of that. So shout out to everyone who is able, who smash and grab that. And, I don't think that's good for will people be posting those in the future? I guess you got to be real nervous.
Absolutely.
To do those sorts of things.
I wonder how many
withdrawals are rare, but I don't know. Imagine you're just getting lunch.
I'm sure tons of people are setting up their Claude bots to get that to run.
Yeah. That's above my hair level. That's above. I'm not smart enough. I will just say you are talking to me, and I will tell you I acted grossly irresponsible.
Responsibly
irresponsible.
Just firing darts all over the board.
Anyone that I'm considering, I then think I need to fire on because I don't have much time to consider this. Guys that were 60-1 go to 40-1. Guys just got totally slashed. I almost didn't even want to do the show with you today because I don't even know what I'm supposed to talk about. The bets that most people have don't really exist anymore.
All right. I guess we can talk through the top of the board and work our way back. Talk me through the Houston Open. Minwoo Lee is previous winner. He's at the top of the board right now, 13-1. Is this a course fit for someone who's sort of won here before? Do you think Minwoo Lee can do it again? 13-1. Do you like him?
Love Minwoo Lee. Was on him here last year. Was on Jaeger here the year before. I feel like I got a good vibe for this place, but it's honestly one of the easier tournaments to actually bet. Now, picking a winner remains difficult, but there's almost a specific skill set that you just chase, and it's dudes that mash, and you trust them to get a hot putter because you don't pay much of a penalty here for drives off the path, right? So you could just let it fly. So I feel comfortable chasing a specific skill set, which is pretty much bombers I believe in or young kids that I believe have the pedigree to actually do it. And now Scotty withdraws. I mean, that's a total game changer.
All right,
game changer.
Talk us through. Go ahead.
You can make a case I love Minwoo Lee, but you can make a case that it's absolutely ridiculous that a player like Chris Gotterup is a bigger number than someone like Minwoo Lee. I mean, Gutterup's like won 3 times in the last what feels like half a year. And you get a guy like Chris Gotterup just being able to just full throttle around this place. I mean, giddy up, let's go. So, yeah, I just bet like a bunch of like hot young bombers. You know, Thor Bjornsson, Marco Pange, Nikolai Højgaard. And then I hit up a MILF like Adam Scott, just gorgeous, because he could just get it out there. I'm a slut for him. So, you know, if there's any time he could finally get over the line, I don't think he's won in like 8 years. And the only like deviation from that profile for me was Ryan Gerard, who I bet him at 50-1. He's like 35. Let's talk about placings.
All right, let's do.
But I'll just tell you, like I overbet. I overbet when he withdraw, and I think the books win. The books will win because like people like me end up overbetting, and we're still not going to bring home a winner.
Yes, you are, Geoff. You say that every single week.
No,
and you've been very good in the weeks you say you haven't.
Realistically, like I grossly overexpose myself. And yes, my chances of hitting a winner, and yeah, like, oh, I got great, like CLV outright winner CLV. Shove it, like, you know where to put that.
It's tough.
Like, where it's worthless. It's worthless. When one like guy is 80-1, 100-1 is gonna go like -11 on one of these days. And anyhow.
Top 5, top 10, top 20. Talk us through.
Yeah, we'll get a little greasy. Here. Adam Scott, top 20. Like I just put air in his tires. He still gets around beautifully. Ricky Fowler, Jay. I'm not betting him to win, but I tell you, if someone wants to take money from me this week, wouldn't it be great to be Ricky? Get himself back into the Masters. I'd be so happy. But he's honestly playing like a top 35 golfer, top 30 golfer in the world right now. And this isn't exactly a strong field. I like the Ricky Fowler top 20s. I don't know if these matchups, if you know, I've been playing some Marco Pan. Like, if Marco Pange doesn't beat Ben Griffin in a head-to-head this week, I'm in trouble. But deeper down the board, our boy Shooter Shan, the Canadian, who we were talking about last week with the Spank Bank. Right? The swing bank, sorry, I should say for him.
Yeah.
Right? He's flirting with 100-1. I believe this guy, this kid can hang. And he's not, some people thought he would go play in the Indian Open this week on the DP World Tour. He's chosen not to ride the momentum of, you know, the Players' Championship finish and really, you know, an opportunity to cement his status, get a tour card on the PGA Tour, take full advantage of it for him. And if you know me, Jesper Svensson, sometimes I can't resist my boy Jesper. I got him as high as like 175-1, but even you know, we'll T20 that. And you know, like my Rasmus Niergaard Pedersen, I haven't bet him yet, but since I'm talking to you, I just reminded myself of him. So we'll see.
All right, let's talk.
We'll see.
All right, we'll recap that. These are all the finished top 20. I'll tell you what the odds are. Adam Scott plus 165, Ricky Fowler plus 125, Jesper Svensson plus 280, Shooter Sean. Can we call him Shooter Sean? Is that?
Yeah, we're laddering these guys. They're like 100 and they're over 100-1 to win the golf tournament. So we're taking a little up the whole board.
Shooter Sean plus 220, and then RNP Rasmus Niergaard Peterson.
Yeah, leave that one out.
Okay, leave that one out. Shit,
now that one's gonna win.
I want.
But our boy from the comments last week, Marco Pange, like to the moon.
To the moon. Marco Pange to the moon. Derek, who I believe suggested Marco Pange last week, saying he likes Koepka at 21-1.
Okay.
To win without Lee, Burns, Gotterup, and Knapp in that market.
I mean, that's funny that Scotty leaves and they have like a new without market. We'll get out on this. All
right.
Brooks Koepka, like a boss. I think it's great that he's back on the PGA Tour. I hope he's amazing. If Brooks Koepka wins this week, that would be great. But I'm telling you right now, it will allow for us to make a lot of money, I believe, maybe playing against him at the Masters.
Okay. So the win to fade.
Well, he doesn't even need a win.
The do well to fade.
Brooks Koepka, because the momentum is there. He's playing great. When he's at his best, he can obviously win the Masters. I wouldn't be shocked. He's a big game hunter. But I just don't believe his game sets up well for the Masters. The sort of touch and feel that's required and what isn't when he can dominate PGA Championships, US Opens. And he's playing really fine golf, tidy golf right now. I really want to see him play great this week. So then I think it'll give us some great opportunities at the Masters.
All right.
And it's dangerous, to say you're looking forward to picking on a guy like Brooks. I could eat those words big time, but that's where my head is at, Jay.
All right. I got a question for you before you head out here. You mentioned the Masters. Masters start, I believe, April, is it 8th, 7th, something along the lines of that. April 7th, 8th, 9th.
I want to say the 9th.
Yeah, so we got a week and a half away. How soon is too soon to bet on the Masters? Never too soon.
I mean, now I would say you're really, you need your hit. You're a true addict unless you can really find a number, because anything good has sort of been squeezed.
Okay.
And there will be a reset. Guys that are playing well, a lot of them I feel you'll get a better number. So unless there's someone there that you think right now, I don't think there is much there. Now, granted, I'm going to flip this on you, Jay, and say Scotty withdrew, but it's just a baby. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to have that baby swag at Augusta. Not that I'm going to be the guy that bets him at plus 450, but I'm sure as hell scared of him.
Someone will.
But he's not playing great, and he's going to be away with the baby. And he's this family man. He's not like me. I hand that kid to the nanny. He claims he gets involved. So, good for him. He claims he puts in nights. Good for him. Rory just, withdrew with a bit of a back issue. The guys on Live are playing good, but is the door open for someone in that mid-range to win the Masters? Right now, I absolutely believe there is. And that's just going to lead to me losing more money.
I like how that's your conclusion at the end of the day.
Yeah, because normally the Masters is a tournament where 8 guys, 12 guys can win. And look at the last handful of winners. There's no playing around. But, if you create a scenario, that's where I can lose a lot of money. Where, I sort of think the barn door has been kicked open a bit. So, right now I feel like the barn door might be open, but it's 2 weeks away.
All right, 2 weeks away. Barn door is open. If you're like me,
you can bet there are people on these prediction markets with players who are not in the Masters, and you can fade you can take no's.
Listen, buyer beware.
Drive me to Buffalo.
Buyer beware.
Someone's going to hunt thousands of dollars on Yoko Neiman to win the Masters. I adore the kid. He's not in the Masters.
I feel bad for anyone who's doing that. But again, like we said, when you click, be aware. No one else is clicking for you. The whole reason why I brought that up, Geoff, is because if you're sitting like me here 2 weeks out from the Masters, next week, 1 week out from the Masters, you're not going to have any bets. Even the week of the Masters, you're probably not going to have any bets. But on Tuesday, April 7th, we'll be doing a Masters betting extravaganza with you, hosted by Geoff Fienberg. So if you're looking for Masters bets, you know where to be. Tuesday the 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern time, right here on this YouTube channel.
We're starting before 2, but I'm not sure.
We're starting before 2?
I think so.
I was told 2. Anyways, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Whatever. Yeah, a lot of things got to be worked out. But it'll be a lot of guests, a lot of bets. Going to try to, in some ways, do a poor man's, a mini version of Pizzola's Super Bowl extravaganza.
All right, it'll be me and you alongside.
And then maybe we'll go for dinner after.
I would love that. We can get a little piece of content out after. That's Tuesday the 7th. Mark it on your calendars. Be aware, guys. Be aware.
Shit, I told my wife it was the 8th. Okay, thank you for letting me know.
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it's the 7th, but
okay. Yeah, I think you're right, because I said the tournament starts the 9th, so you're right.
Yeah. So you gotta run that by your wife again. Good thing I mentioned that to you. Anyways, Geoff, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Later.
Awesome stuff there from Geoff, as always. I'm just trying to scroll through my messages here to make sure that it is on the 7th.
I believe it's the 7th.
I believe it's the 7th as well. Let me see. Yeah. It's the 7th. Good thing I brought that up with Geoff. Love Geoff. Great time.
Honestly, it's
As
going to be
always.
electric. We
It's
should
gonna
set
be-
up like a little putting
gonna be-
green in studio for him.
It's going to be a good one. All right, let's get into our next guest here. Let's get back on the board. Let's get the trains back on the track. And no one else better to do that than Matt Winick. He's a college basketball analyst, consultant, does content over at The Basket Under Review. Go check out his podcast, Weekend Under Review, which you can listen to on Spotify and all audio platforms, but I usually listen to it on Spotify. Matt, how's it going?
It's going well. It feels so empty. It's been like 3 days, basically no college basketball. Though there was NIT yesterday, which, as we've talked about, is it's too bad you didn't have me on yesterday. I went 1-0 on the NIT. So,
all right,
missed opportunity.
That's all right. We got to talk to Moretto about that and get that sorted. But you do look more well rested, which is important. Hopefully, you're able to get some rest this time.
I'm getting there, but I need a haircut first. Then I can say
You can schedule that for like next week for like the Final Four when you're doing all the big hits there. But question: this weekend, were you able to plot your weekend out so you missed the minimum amount of games? Because you said you had a prior event, I believe, on the Saturday. Games were scheduled perfectly for you.
It was tough. Yeah, I mean, I got the first game because it's standalone, and then they're all bundled up. So I got my first standalone at home, and then I was able to fit my social event into the second standalone, which was fine. Michigan State, Louisville wasn't insane, so it was very manageable.
All right, perfect. That's what I love to hear. Then let's, that's important. Hopefully, no prior commitments Thursday, Friday. I mean, you can get away with it this week because of the nighttime games, but hopefully not.
No, Thursday, Friday, because it's two stacked on each other. Like I'm locked in.
You're locked in.
Two games. It's one thing to be busy during a standalone, but when there's two games at the same time, can't happen.
Going to be firing. All right, let's get into the games then right now. Starting with, let's do all of them rapid fire. We're going to start with Texas Purdue, the 7-10 game. Purdue right now -7.5 on the spread, -105 at FanDuel. Totals at 147.5, juice towards the over, -115. Texas has been like, I don't want to call them the darling of the tournament, but they had a playing game. Like I know, but I see that.
If Texas is the darling, then we have no darling.
All right, they're the 11 seed, so it's fun to see an 11 seed after people deemed March Madness as being dead, which maybe we can get to a little bit later. Talk us through this game. Do you think Texas can keep up their magic a little bit here against Purdue, or is the show stop here for them?
I think they have a chance. These teams play completely opposite styles of basketball. And not only that, but they play opposite styles of their leagues. Like Texas sees nothing like Purdue in the SEC, and Purdue sees nothing like Texas in the Big Ten. So very foreign styles of basketball against each other. Purdue loves to swing the ball, pass the ball. They have Braden Smith, the greatest assist man in NCAA history. But Texas wants you to, do as much isolation basketball as possible. So Braden Smith's going to be a scorer here, which has not been a way for Purdue to have a lot of success. So if Texas can properly force Braden Smith to be a scorer, I think they have a real chance. But on the other side, Texas plays through their bigs, their forwards. They love to get to the free throw line. They love offensive rebounds, and that is not stuff that Purdue allows with their two big lineup with Trey Coppin and Oscar Clough. So who's going to be better at playing uncomfortable? You're probably going to take Purdue in that case because they have all these seniors. They've played a million games together, but it's not going to be the prettiest game of all time.
All right, close match here between Texas and Purdue. Iowa, Nebraska up next. Maybe Iowa's the darling of the tournament then. Are they considered the darling? Upsetting the 1 seed in Florida. Nebraska -1.5, -110. Pretty close game here. Totals at 131.5. This team gets the privilege, or whichever winner of this team gets the privilege to play the winner of Illinois, Houston, which might be the best matchup in the Sweet 16. Talk us through this game. You think Iowa has a chance here?
Yeah, they have a chance, but these teams have already played twice, right? This is their third matchup. It's funny. You were talking about the opposite styles of Purdue and Texas. These teams are in the same conference. This is their third meeting, and both of the first two meetings kind of went as expected. They were low scoring, a lot of turnovers. Nebraska is very good at forcing, a team to beat them rather than a player. And for Iowa, they're best when Bennett Sturts has a huge game. Nebraska is going to try to out-scheme Bennett Sturts, and so I think Iowa had all the success against Florida because they're such polar opposites, and they were able to slow Florida down and make Florida really uncomfortable playing a game they're not used to. Nebraska's used to it. Not only do they play that way, but they've played this team twice. Ben McCollum could be the best scheming coach in the country, but if you've already schemed against them twice, they got to know stuff, right? So I don't think Iowa can catch Nebraska off guard. I think Nebraska will end up being fine here.
All right, Nebraska takes it. It seems like quickly. First of all, for people who are saying March Madness is dead, this matchup is the reason why it's not dead. That Nebraska Vanderbilt game was absolutely incredible, like one of the best games I've ever watched of college basketball in recent memory. And then Iowa and Florida. I want to ask you about the whole foul, no foul situation. Was it like the wrong? Now I'm starting to see people talking about it was the wrong move to foul because the way they were playing was super aggressive, and that led to them getting that open. That led to Iowa, getting that open three. What's your opinion on the Florida-Iowa foul, no foul at the end of the game?
Well, first of all, nobody fouls up two. It does not happen. So it would have been, if they did do that, it would have been completely unprecedented. And let me tell you, if they fouled up two, Iowa made both shots, it went to overtime, and Florida lost, there would be way more outrage than what we're having right now. At the end of the day, you foul up two because you would rather play it safe and go to overtime or have 10 seconds to score and win than to have exactly what did happen, which is Iowa hits the three. Of course, to your point, the flip side is they let that three happen by pressing and missing. So I'm sure it's something that, Florida's a very analytical staff. I'm pretty sure they didn't really have that solution deep into their model. I think they'll probably add it to their model and reevaluate whether it's something they should do moving forward.
Yeah, especially with I believe someone mentioned on Twitter that I forget who had the ball, but his free throw shooting is like relatively good. Maybe if you factor in having to press and that opening things up, maybe a player with as good free throw shooting as him, maybe you don't foul in that situation. But again, it's good having these uncomfortable conversations. It's how we move the game forward and make it more interesting. Arkansas and Arizona, one of the standout stars of this tournament, Acuff, an absolute dog, looks great in the tournament so far. Arizona right now, 7.5 point favorites at -120. Totals at 166.5. Do we think that Acuff can will this Arkansas team to victory here against a much better Arizona team?
No. I think that Arkansas is the worst defense left in the tournament. I don't think it's close. Their defense is really, really bad. And in particular, it's really, really bad at the rim. And the whole conversation with Arizona is, well, what are they going to do if they don't shoot threes? They don't have to shoot threes in this game because Arkansas's rim defense is so bad. Like, I can't even explain to you how bad. It might be the worst rim defense in all of Power 5 basketball, not just the teams left in the tournament. So Darius Acuff would need like 45 points for Arkansas to win, and he'll probably need 35 for Arkansas to cover. It's possible, but Arkansas is already playing 6 or 7 guys, and Arizona is going to dominate the rim. They're going to dominate the glass, and Arkansas is just going to have the best scoring game ever to win. So if you think that Darius Acuff is like the next coming of Damian Lillard, then take the over instead. But I think Arizona is a safer bet.
All right, big total in this game, 166.5. Like you mentioned, Arkansas, does not play any defense. Best game of the Sweet 16, toughest matchup of the Sweet 16. Up next, Illinois, Houston. Houston 2.5 point favorites, -120. A lot of people liked Illinois coming into this pre-tournament. They kind of had this drawn up Illinois-Houston matchup on their board, and a lot of people picked Illinois in this upset for their bracket. Totals at 139.5. Do you think Illinois has the juice?
I think Illinois will win, but also I tend to discount home court, and I'm especially going to discount home court when it's not actually the home court. Like, yeah, this game's in Houston. You think Illinois fans don't care? You think they're not going to come? They're going to be there. It's going to be more Houston fans than Illinois fans, but it's not going to be a Houston home game. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. Illinois schematically has a really good shot here. I think they're going to split shot attempts, which you don't want to do. Houston needs to have more shots than their opponent because they take inefficient ones. And Illinois doesn't turn it over. Illinois doesn't let you get offensive rebounds. So I think if these shots are even amounts of attempts, Illinois takes way more threes. They take way more rim attempts. They're way better at shot-making profile. And I think that that's enough for them to get this win. And you're going to get good value from it because Houston's getting treated like it's a home game, even though it is in their city. And they only have 9 losses in Houston in the last 9 years. They are 0-1 in the Rocket Stadium, which is the stadium.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I have a question for you here, though. With Illinois and Houston, if you do like Illinois, they're currently plus 136 on the money line. Would you rather almost take them to them to reach the Final Four on FanDuel at plus 600 instead of the money line here at plus 136 because of how big of favorites they're probably going to be against both Iowa and Nebraska?
100%. And I also think that there's value in them as the national champion because Michigan and Arizona are the top 2 teams left in the field, and both of them would play each other before they played Illinois in the championship. So I think that whoever you think is going to win between Illinois and Houston, in my case, it's Illinois. If you're a big Houston fan, I understand. I would take that team to go to the national championship game or take them to win the whole thing because Duke looks pretty susceptible right now, and Michigan and Arizona look unbeatable. Only one of them can advance.
Yeah, excuse me, I misspoke. I think I said Illinois to reach the Final Four is plus 600. That was them to reach the national championship. Illinois plus 210 to reach the Final Four if you want to play it a little bit safer there and like the sort of rollover of Illinois winning this game and winning between either Iowa and Nebraska. Let's flip over and talk the Friday slate. We're going to lead things off with St. John's and Duke. I don't know if you listen, I have a question about the St. John's and Kansas game. We'll talk about that after that. Duke minus 6.5, minus 114. Totals at 141.5. Some words that some returning players for Duke is that a real thing? Are we going to see guys come back for them? Do you want them to come back? Talk me through this game here.
I mean, Pat Gongba came back and was clearly hurt and ineffective against TCU. Caleb Foster, it would be well ahead of schedule if he came back in this game. They need Caleb Foster because St. John's, as you saw in that Kansas game, is going to pressure you for 40 minutes. And Duke only has one on-ball guard right now, and that's Caden Boozer. Cameron Boozer is going to have to be their second guard, and you don't want your leading scorer to have to against that press. He's going to get exhausted. So there's issues for Duke here, but there's also issues for St. John's. In the same way that Kansas made St. John's take 1 trillion threes, Duke's going to do the exact same thing, and Bryce Hopkins is not going to set a career high for three-pointers again. So I think that both teams are going to have issues here. Inevitably, I don't see how this isn't close. St. John's getting blown out feels very, very unlikely here.
All right. St. John's getting blown out seems unlikely. Maybe you're leaning a little bit towards that plus 6.5 here. I have a question for you about the St. John's and Kansas game because at the end of the game, I think there was 13 seconds left. Kansas had like 3 or 4 fouls to give before they hit the bonus. Did they mess up their calculations there by one, giving St. John's a little bit too much time, or I guess fouling too quickly to give St. John's so much time at the end of the game? And do you feel like when they were fouling, they weren't like fouling for the ball; they were kind of just fouling to foul? Did they kind of mess things up at the end?
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's 20/20. The thing is, if you foul too late, then St. John's gets into the shooting motion, then it's 3 free throws and you lose. So in a way, I understand what they were doing, but yeah, if you have 3 fouls to give, like Florida was over aggressive in their pressure against Iowa. Kansas was not aggressive enough. If you have 3 fouls to give, obviously there's the chance that they beat your pressure and go in for a layup, but with 13 seconds left, St. John's is going to hold for the last shot in a tie game. So them being more aggressive for a steal would have been the move there, and obviously it ended up costing them.
Yeah. All right. I just had a little question about that because I was wondering at the end of the game, I'm like, what are they doing? They have so many fouls left, and then I see them foul. I'm like, oh, there might be a little bit too much time.
Can I just say, though, if you've only fouled 2 times in 19 and a half minutes, maybe you weren't playing aggressive enough.
Yeah, that's a great point there. That's a great point there. Let's flip over and talk Alabama and Michigan. Like you mentioned, Michigan, one of the top teams in this tournament. Michigan minus 9.5, minus 120 on the spread right now. Total's at 174.5. Biggest total I think we have of this round. Juice towards the over, minus 115. This looks like just a shootout.
Yeah, this is a game I wouldn't touch. Out of all the 8 games, this is the one I would want the least, just because Alabama's going to take 55, maybe 60% of their shots from 3. They just destroyed Texas Tech, but it's interesting. They lost the turnover battle, and they lost the 2-point field goal battle, and they lost the free throw line battle, but they shot 45% from 3, and Texas Tech shot 16% from 3. You're going to win every game when you shoot 30% better than your opponent. Michigan is going to force Alabama to shoot threes because there's no way on earth Alabama's scoring against all their big dudes down low. So if Alabama shoots 50% from 3, they're going to win this game. And if they shoot 20% from 3, they're going to lose by 30. I just don't think you have any idea what's going to happen because it's completely dependent on shot making, shots going in or not going in. And that's the game I want to bet the least.
All right, that makes perfect sense. Would you be interested in all like any correlative parlays with like an Alabama money line with their team total over, like anything like that? Is that something that you'd be interested in? I'll try and find a price for you right now. Or is this just, again, like you said, stepping away, not touching it?
That makes a lot of sense. I think that if Alabama can absolutely win this game. And if Alabama wins this game, they will score more points than suggested. So if you do want to throw like a variance dart into the atmosphere, that'd be a good idea. Also, if Alabama's red hot from 3 in the first half, take Michigan. If Alabama's 1 for 21 from 3 at half, take Alabama.
All right, makes perfect sense there. Doesn't look like you can get much in terms of it being like incredibly correlated as one can assume. But let's move on to the Michigan State and Connecticut game. Connecticut -1.5. This game's almost a pick 'em, -1.5, -110 for Connecticut. Totals at 135.5. Juice towards the over, -115. Talk us through this game.
This is a bad matchup for Michigan State because UConn allows a lot of isolation and UConn forces you to get downhill to the rim. And for some teams, it's like, yeah, I get to go to the basket all the time and finish over Terrace Reed and your other rim protectors. For Michigan State, they're a team that cannot play that way. For one, they're not a good rim team. Their big men are more post-up players, not like downhill rim guys. And they're second in the country in assist rate, with the leader in assist rate in Jeremy Fears. They're not going to be able to run their action because UConn's going to blow up every screen and make Michigan State beat them off of the dribble. That is not how the Spartans want to score at all. I think they're going to have a lot of issues scoring here. So UConn's been ice cold from deep. Even if they have a below average shooting game, they should win here. If the odds kind of even out and they have a really good shooting game here, they could win by double digits.
All right, maybe they win by double digits. Let's flip over and talk the final game here. Tennessee and Iowa State. Iowa State -4.5, -104. Totals at 138.5. Juice towards the over, -114 to close out the Sweet 16. Who do you like in this matchup?
This all comes down to whether Joshua Jefferson plays for Iowa State. He's number 2 in Ken Palm's Player of the Year voting. So basically the second most valuable player in the country in that analytics stat. And Iowa State was fine against Kentucky because Kentucky had no point guard that can get a ton of steals. Tennessee does turn it over too much, but they do have one of the best point guards in the country in Jacoby Gillespie. I think if Josh Jefferson plays, I would want to take Iowa State if the number's anything like where it is now. I'm not sure how quickly that gets adjusted. If he doesn't play, I still don't want to fade Iowa State. There's still such an amazing defense. I would lean under because Iowa State's offense suffers more with Jefferson off the floor.
All right, so no Jefferson. We look towards the under. Yes, Jefferson. We try and get on that money line or that spread as quickly as we possibly can. Matt, before you head out here, a couple questions. One, I'm going to force pick you now that we're in the Sweet 16. Talk us who you have to win the national championship and who's going to be in that national championship game. Who do you want to be there?
I think it'll probably be, it'll almost certainly be one of Arizona and Michigan. Gun to my head right now, I would say it's Michigan because they've been playing better of late. But at the beginning of the tournament, I said Arizona, so maybe I'm overreacting to what I've seen so far. On the other side, I had Illinois from the start. I still think it's Illinois. I think they're playing better than Duke. I think as if they beat Houston, they should be the favorites to go to the Final Four. We'll see. To go to the championship game, in which case I would take the winner of Michigan, Arizona is going to win the national championship.
All right.
Those are the two best teams by far right now.
All right, makes perfect sense there. Set aside your bracket. Set aside who you want in the national championship game for now. If you had to pick one Elite 8 matchup that you would want to see 100%, you can guarantee it tomorrow, what would it be and why?
That's an Elite 8. It's definitely not the Houston side. Arizona Purdue would be really, really fun because those are two completely different styles of basketball teams, two of the best guards in the country, and Jaden Bradley and Braden Smith, and just such a cool contrast in the way people play. Like Duke, UConn would be fun, but the scoring is bad there. Michigan, Iowa State, I don't actually think would be that close. And then the winner of Illinois, Houston is going to have an easier game. Illinois, Houston is actually the best game we're going to have until the Final Four.
All right, let's flip over and talk NIT before you head out here. Illinois State, Dayton playing tonight, Nevada and Auburn also playing tonight. What do you got here for us? Talk us through this one. Wichita State was a banger. It was a banger. I messaged you about that. It was amazing. Give us another one here tonight.
It was easy.
It was too easy. It was like what you said about was it Prairie View in if only games were that easy during the tournament. Illinois State, Dayton, Nevada, Auburn. Anything you got in these two games?
We're going to go with the over in Dayton, Illinois State. It should be around 139.5 to 140, depending where you are. And NIT overs have been pretty solid. Illinois State has a solid defense in metrics, but they have not played a team like Dayton that's really physical, big, and gets downhill. I don't think they can stop Dayton, but Dayton kind of presses a little aggressively. They'll allow an open 3 or 2 here and there, and Illinois State's been red hot from deep. This group is probably playing together for the last time. If they lose this game, which they are projected to, I think that they probably play a little bit faster than projected. I think this gets over 140 pretty easily.
All right, over 140.5 at FanDuel -108. But shop around, like you mentioned, there's 139.5s out there. Also, the Corby gave out an over in St. John's, New Mexico. That was also a good win for him.
Yeah, the NIT overs have been pretty good because teams don't really care that much anymore, so they're not defending too much.
They're not defending. They just want to score as many points as they possibly can. Matt, appreciate you joining the show. Excited to talk to you next week once the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 are wrapped up. We'll chat soon.
Sure, take it easy.
Awesome stuff there for Matt. Hope he enjoys the rest of the college basketball tournament right before we hit that Final Four. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. You know the drill, guys. Do us a huge favor. Smash the like button. Comment down below what you thought of Matt, what you thought about Geoff Fienberg, what you thought about Mr. Peanut Butter, what you think about maybe our Masters prop extravaganza that's going to be live in 2 weeks. Also, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Share it with your friends if they like talking about betting. I know you guys are sharing these NIT picks with your friends. At least let them know where the source is from. At least let them know where the source is from so they can come by, they can subscribe, and they can show some love. Also,
Winick. Winick.
All right. Don't forget as well to rate and review our pods. 5 stars. Do us a huge favor if you're on audio form. And then finally, shout out to you guys. Just want to give you a shout out. You guys are great. We love you guys here. That's it. That wraps up today's show. Today's been the Wednesday, March 25th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends at FanDuel. We'll see you guys right here tomorrow.